Afternoon and a warm welcome to episode 2 of our word exam preparation series and scale acquisition video. In our last episode, which was episode 1, I introduced you to the interface of Microsoft Word. We will be looking at the Home tab and specifically zoom in on the font group. So if you have your laptop with you, kindly launch Word. I've already launched mine and click on Create Blank Documents. So my blank document is created. But for us to use the functions under the Home tab, which is the font group, we will need to come up with some sample text. And in order to do that, you type it is equal to on your keyboard RAND, you open a bracket. I need about 5 paragraphs, and within the 5 paragraphs, I'll need about let's say 10 sentences too much, so let's say 8 sentences. I hit on enter, and there you have the sample text. So before you can apply any formatting to a group of text, there is a need for us to learn how to select these text. So we have using the keyboard or using the mouse. So if you're using the keyboard, double click on a word will select the word. A triple click within any section of this paragraph will select the entire paragraph. Then you can as well do this by holding down the left mouse button and dragging across the section you want highlighted. So that is one way of using the mouse. You can as well move into your left margin. So as you move into the left margin, the pointer position changes, pointing in the northeast direction. But if I'm within, or if I move up to the ribbon, the position also changes to northwest. So note the difference. So if you want to select an entire line, once you are in the left margin, you click once and it's selected. You do a double click, an entire paragraph is selected. You do a triple click, and all the pages within the document will be selected. So 1, 2, 3. So this is how you select text using the mouse. You can as well use the directional keys on the keyboard, combine it with shift, and whichever direction you want to move will be selected. So I'll hold down my shift key as I've done on mine, down arrow key, then I keep selecting. Up arrow key, it deselects the point where I was. Back arrow key, which is my left, select to the left. Right arrow key, select to the right, deselect, and continue in that particular order. So this is how text is selected. So let's focus on the font group and how we can use these tools and when to use them. So assuming I want to change this entire paragraph's font style, I can just come in here, click on the drop down menu and the font style command or button. So as I hover the mouse over, you see a live preview of what the text will look like. So if you want to change the font style of a particular text, after highlighting, you just go through the list and pick the ones that is most appropriate to the work that you are dealing with. So I'll go with this particular font style. Then you can as well come in here and change the size of the font. So you can use a drop down to go through this list, or you can use the increase and decrease font size buttons. So if you put the mouse pointer on there, it gives you a screen tip, increase font size. So without the assistance of an instructor, you can actually learn Word by reading the screen tip to know what the function is used for. If I want to decrease, I do same. If I want to increase, I come here and I do same. Now, assuming I've typed this in sentence case and I want to change it into uppercase or small letters, you use this particular change case button. So sentence case is what is our default. I can do all the text in lowercase. I can do all of it in uppercase. I can capitalize each word where the first letter of each word is capital. And I can do a toggle case where the first letter is a small letter and the remaining letters in the word is capital. So this is how you apply some of these formatting to your text. You can as well come in here and do a bold, do an italicize, then also do an underline. So by default, you can just underline it once, but if you want other options, you click on the drop down um, arrow next to the underline button. Then as you go through, it gives you the name, double underline, we have thick underline, dotted, dashed, dot dash, and all of that. So the Microsoft exam, they will give you the name and you will have to determine which of the tabs and which of the groups you can find a function to execute that particular task. So as you practice, take notice or take note of where these functions are. I can come into the underline color palette, go through the list if you don't like the default, which is black, and all the colors have their names. So all the accents are here. So we have orange accent, we have aqua accent, then the variations, aqua accent, lighter or darker, comes down that particular column. So take note of that. Then we do have the standard colors for the purposes of the Microsoft Office Specialist exam. Know the names and know how to get to it quickly because you will be required to complete about 5 or 7 projects within 50 minutes. Okay, so this is where you find the tools. Then we have the strike through. Once you click on that, it cancels out the text. You click on it again, it removes the strike through feature. Then we do have subscript and superscript. So for mathematicians and those of us who are into science, where you write certain formulas. So let's say if it is ax squared. So let me just increase the font size so that you see what is happening here. So if it is ax, the squared is supposed to be a superscript. So you click on the superscript, you hit 2, then you have the superscript. But if you continue to type, you'll still be within the superscript mode. So after you've executed that function, you just go ahead, you deselect, it comes back to its normal mode. Then let's say H2O, that is the formula for water in science. So I come here, I do a subscript, I type the 2, I click on it again, I deselect, then I type my O. So this is how you use the superscript and the subscript. Then if you want to be a little bit add more life to your text, especially when we're dealing with kids and you're a teacher teaching kids, they like to see colors and a lot more features with a text. So you can use the text effect and typography a command. So you can go through this, um, select the one which is more appropriate. So this particular one is fill white outline blue accent color 1, blue accent color 1. So this is how Microsoft will put the questions. So note where to find them. Then you can also explore other options, shadow glue. So I'll leave that for you to explore. Then after you've explored and you want to get in touch with us, you can call. I'll leave our number on the screen so that we communicate via Facebook or via WhatsApp. Okay, so I'll just leave it at this. Then we have text highlighters. So gone are the days when we were doing our undergraduate program at UCC when you get a handout, you read a handout, then you take note of certain important concepts You buy a highlighter, then you just highlight those sections so that when it's time for a quiz, you don't need to really go through the entire document. You just focus on where you've highlighted. So we also have this feature in Microsoft Word. So if you think this particular line is important, you can use the default, which is a yellow text highlighter color, or click on the drop down, go through the list and select the one you want. So once it's selected, it's been highlighted. So if you want to remove the highlighted line or text, you need to select it again. Then you go back, then you select no color. Then the text, as we all know by default, is black. So you can also think of having a different color applied to the text by executing the font color button. So you click on it, drop down, we have a lot of colors you can play around with. So as you go through, you see a live preview of what it is to change the font color. Then we also do have the clear all formatting. So many people, after applying so many formats, would want to use the Control Z or the undo button, which is on the quick access toolbar, to undo all that they've done. You need not to go through that tedious process. So if I don't like the feature of what I'm seeing here, I just go up into my font group under the Home tab, click on it, and it is removed. So this is how you use the clear or formatting tool. So I'm going to do an undo, Control Z to undo on my keyboard. Then we call this the dialog box launcher. So Microsoft cannot put all the functions which is specific to formatting fonts within the phase of this group. So they try to hide some. So if you want more functions under font group, you need to execute the dialog box launcher for the group. So I'm going to click on it. It is executed. So you have the font dialog box. So if you take a critical look at what we have here, the font we saw within the phases here, the same as the bold italic. We also saw the size, how to increase and decrease. We also saw the font color. We saw underline style under this section, but you do have a lot more than what you saw. So you can play around with some of them. We saw strike through by double strike through was not part of it. We saw superscript, we saw subscript, we saw all caps, we saw small caps, but heading wasn't part of this particular group. So this is how you use the heading feature. So I'm going to use that in a bit. I'll cancel out Control A to select my entire text. Then click on the dialog box launcher. I'll click on heading. I'll click on OK, and all the text will be hidden. So this is more of a security feature if you are giving a document to a friend which is confidential and you don't trust that your friend will not open it. You can create a document, all right, hide the text and give it to your friend. And because your friend is also a specialist in Word, you just tell the friend, Charlie, I've hidden the text. So when you receive it, kindly unhide. So once you've received the text, you just click anywhere within the document, Control A to select an imaginary text, which you obviously know it's there. Then you click on the dialog box launcher, then you uncheck the heading, you click on OK, then it comes up. So you can use this as you practice with Microsoft Office Word. Then let's look at another feature under the dialog box launcher for the font group. So I will click on it to execute it. Then I come to, you have the font tab and the advanced tab under the font dialog box. So I click on the advanced tab, then we have character spacing. So if you're creating document for someone who has issues with the eye, finding a little bit difficult reading text like this, as a specialist, you can come and make changes to the spacing of the characters. So you can expand it by some amount of points. So if I use 10 points, you get a live preview. So when you see video here, the text are a bit condensed. But if you use expanded, it tries to space it out a bit for your reader so that he or she can read. And I think this is way too much. So I will come in here and make it 5 points. So just try and play around with these advanced features, and let's get interactive on Facebook. You can as well message us. You'll see you get our WhatsApp number after this particular episode 2 of our wide um, exam preparation series and scale acquisition. You can as well go to text effects, explore, play around with it, see what is there. This is how you learn. Okay, so thank you very much for the time, and we will save our document and continue to look at the clipboard group, the paragraph group in our next episode, which is episode 3. So if you want to save, you click on the save. From the quick access toolbar, you come to file, then you come to save. Then I'll browse onto my desktop. So I'll go to my desktop and just save it there. So this is word practice. You can give it any other name you want. Then you click on OK. So now it's saved. So you can reach out to us on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/Fritz Setipot. Then you can reach out to our principal consultant, Fifi Falmobin, on 054990111190. Thank you. Do have a wonderful day.